Hey guys, what's up? It's Lewpac back with another Albion Online video for you, and today we've got some exciting stuff that I've been digging quite hard to find with the help of a friend. Obviously, myself and all of the Albion community are eagerly awaiting news and information about the next expansion patch, the R expansion for Albion Online. It's a little bit overdue. Obviously, the original plan, I believe, was an expansion once every 4 months. And that point has passed, but obviously with the COVID-19 crisis and Sandbox being stuck at home, stuff like that, it's not surprising that we haven't had it yet. However, in our eager wait for news and information, I actually had a friend of mine who did some digging through the XML files that are currently available in the live game and in the test server, because the way, obviously, they don't just make the whole thing at once and deploy it all at once. Bits are added piece by piece to the game's code in advance, preemptively to the expansion. We were actually able to find a bunch of information about both the upcoming corrupted dungeons and the roads of Avalon. Two of the probably biggest things to do with the expansion. And basically, I'm going to give you a quick summary of what we found. I won't give you the full XML pages because honestly, it was pretty hard for me to make sense of what was there. But my friend actually pasted out the relevant stuff and has sort of given me a breakdown and some notes of what to look for. So this isn't exactly what it's going to be. Obviously, this is not live yet as such, so it is subject to change. But this could give us a rough idea of what to expect with these new features. So the first thing we'll talk about is the corrupted dungeons. These are supposed to be like a solo dungeon experience whereby another player can invade your dungeon, kind of Dark Souls style, and you fight for control of the dungeon and the rewards and stuff like that. So people were like, oh, so 1v1 Hellgates then. But not quite, honestly, looking at this. So basically, what we've discovered here is it looks like there's 3 tiers of corrupted dungeons. They have an IP cap for each of them. And there's a minimum IP, I believe, for entering these dungeons. So there's an IP cap and a minimum IP for going in. So you can't, for example, you can't rat the highest level dungeon in low tier gear just to be annoying. There is a minimum IP tier to go in them. So they've obviously addressed the ratting problem that we've seen in 2v2s. So the highest one is a 1400 IP. The medium one is 1200, and that's lower tier. And then there's a lowest tier of 1000 IP, which is a non-full loot corrupted dungeon. So this is great. Again, like we've seen in Crystal Leagues, in order for players to break into this gameplay, there's a non-full loot version. And I think for the future of Albion and for the health of the game, introducing players to the end game mechanics and end game environments in a non-full loot manner is a great way for them to learn it and let the player take the step to full loot when they feel ready. So many full loot games have failed because players get dumped into it too fast. Darkfall Online was absolutely brutal, and I really like this approach to it. So we've got 3 tiers, and if you go above the IP cap, you get a 50% scaling bonus, similar to Hellgates. There's also an infamy requirement. So you can't immediately go into the highest tier, which is called a pro dungeon. You need to kill X amount of corrupted mobs in the dungeons in order to get the right level or infamy level to do the highest tier dungeons. So you can't just jump into the pro ones. Everybody will be grinding out the lower ones trying to farm. It looks like currently the mobs give 1 point for the weakness, 3 points for the hardness, and 10 infamy for mini bosses. So you need 50,000 for pro dungeons. So it's a fair bit of grinding to get into the pro, but the rewards are going to be there. The rewards formula is in here. You've got a constant reward and a reward ceiling. So basically, you have an MMR system in these dungeons from what we've seen in here. There's like a points gain and loss depending on if you win or lose your dungeon PvP. And it seems that you need to win 3 times per loss to break even. So players will have to have, a pretty decent win rate of 75% to stay at their current MMR, which is kind of an odd way for an MMR system to work. But again, this might be subject to change. And your rewards are not only based on the level of dungeon you do, but also your MMR. So the higher your MMR goes, the better your loot's going to be. There is a cap, so you can't just get infinitely better loot. And I imagine it will curve out as you get past sort of the highest level. It's going to flatten the curve, and it won't. It won't increase crazy. So you're not going to get like 2 or 3 guys just getting constant 83 drops or something crazy like that. There's a few comments left in there about like the MMR and stuff like that. They're basically designed to offer a solo challenge experience, rid Albion of powerful demonic enemies. So they move you into the instance, you defeat enemies to increase your chance of finding another dungeon. And you get invaders by the looks of it. So similar to if you played Dark Souls PvP, you'll know that somebody like a hostile spirit invades your current instance and you fight them. It seems that you have to slay demonic enemies to find the dungeons themselves. You can also get rid of the invader by destroying something called demonic shards instead of fighting them. So there's going to be, it'll be a kind of mechanic where one of you is the actual occupant of the dungeon and one of you is the invader, the goodies and the baddies, if you will. Or you can invade someone else's corrupted dungeon and try and defeat them. There's a few achievements that go with it as well, but I don't think we've got the paste on all of them. We do have some achievements for the Avalonian roads as well. So there's basically some of the information about the dungeons. There's going to be tiers, there's going to be an MMR system. You slay demons to give you a portal into the dungeon, or you use a demonic shrine to invade somebody else's dungeon and try and kill them. So that's everything we could find on the corrupted dungeons currently from the files in the game. And we do have a little bit of information as well on the Avalonian roads. So most of the info we've got on Avalonian roads is based on the achievements, actually. We've got this information from achievements that are coming into the game. So there's an achievement called Hit the Road, which is Enter a Road of Avalon. And there's also one called Far Down the Rabbit Hole, which says Enter a Deep Road of Avalon, implying that these are 2 different things, which means obviously there's going to be different tiers of, there's not just the roads of Avalon. There's normal roads, there's deep roads, potentially there's even more. Now, there's also an achievement to defeat 250 Avalonians in the roads of Avalon, defeat Guardians in the roads of Avalon as well. So we know there's going to be mobs in there as well. We also know from the files that there's going to be spawn points for gathering nodes. Epic Roads of Avalon has T6 to T8 in them. It has 8 positions for big T8 nodes, and there's also spawn points for resource guardians. So you could be getting the world resource mobs and aspects in the worlds of Avalon. The mob camps in the roads of Avalon have Avalonian mob spawns in them, and even the low gathering areas have big T8 spawns in there. So a lot of people who have been complaining about gathering might be in for a treat, because it seems like there's big T8 nodes in the roads of Avalon, and because of their sort of randomness and the fact that they're not in a fixed position, if they behave like wormholes in Eve, you won't be able to just go to the same place every time. It's not going to be perma-farmed on reset like current high-level resource zones. And then the rare spawns, they also have Avalonian veteran mobs in there. So that is what we were able to get so far from the XML files. Obviously, as anything else gets uploaded, I'll try and give you information on it. And we've been discussing this a lot on the stream as well. So it's like some really interesting stuff in here. I'd love to know what you think. I don't know if any of you played the wormhole system in Eve, how that behaves and how you think it will transition into Albion. What do you think about the corrupted dungeons? Are you looking forward to playing in an MMR environment? I think that'll be kind of cool to hopefully constantly be matched against fair opponents at your skill level. Will be a very nice experience for the solo player. And more solo gameplay is something that is both great for the game and players have been absolutely crying out for ages. But that's everything we could find so far. I'll bring you any more information as I get it. I know this is different from my usual videos that I make, but I honestly thought that this was interesting enough to bring you everything I found. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Leave a comment below if you've got any thoughts about the Roads of Avalon, the corrupted dungeons, or if you're eagerly waiting for the next expansion. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.